Okay, class, welcome. This is day 6 of the PBL if I were in charge. This should be Monday, May 18th. This is a big week. This is the week we are writing our bill. So let's get right to it. I'm actually not going to post a lecture Tuesday or Wednesday because today's explanation is about what you're doing the next few days. Now I'm increasing the number of Zooms that I'm having. So I'm certainly still going to be available and available more. And I can set up a Zoom with you outside of those normal times if you just request it. But let's get to it. Document of the week is assigned today and is due by the start of your class on Friday. The document of the week is about school violence. It is an easy enough form to do. The challenge when I give you a document is it primary or secondary? Over half of you have not turned in documents of the week. Those are zeros. I don't know what else to tell you. Those have got to be in on time. You can turn them in any time Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, up until the start of your class Friday. But let's spend the majority of our time explaining this bill. Everything we've done so far has been to get ready to write a law, to write a bill. A bill is a proposed law. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. This is going to be due Wednesday at 4. I'm going to make every Zoom I have this week, instead of having it just be Monday first period, I'm going to post the Zoom in all of the classes. So anybody from any class can catch me in a Zoom between 10 and 10:30 minimally. I can add to that so you can ask me direct questions about this. But let's take a look at how we're going to do this bill. And the first step, so you've done your pre-planning. That's done. If you got an approved group, you're good. If you're working solo, which most of you are, that's fine. You can't have a group now. You've done that research and we're done with that. But then you had to do the topic approval form. Now, this form did not work out the way I thought it would, and that's fine. So I literally read all of these and then sent you an email that said, oh, this is approved or this is not approved. If it's not approved, you don't have to go back and do the form again. Reply to me in the email to correct what we have, because what I'm trying to do here is to make sure that the topic that you selected, because in the form you end up saying, oh, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to choose this topic that you explain here based on one of these objectives. I'm having you do this so that the next part, the part we're starting today, writing the bill, is more logical and easier and something you'll be able to complete. And I'm setting you up for success, not a rough grade. If you don't have an email that says topic approved, stop everything you're doing and get this done yesterday. This was done Friday, due Friday at 4. If it was not approved, you turned it in on time, but it was not approved. Hurry up and address that correction so you can get going on this bill. So make sure that you and I have had a conversation through email that says this topic is approved. If you haven't done this form, you're behind and you got to get this done right away. Once I say, yep, your topic is good, then you're going to fill out this form. Do not submit this form until you are done. It is worth 25 points. That's half a test score. So make sure you do this well. It is due Wednesday by 4. So you have 3 full days to do this. So that should be plenty of time if you're working with a partner or if you're solo for you to do the research you need to do. So let's go through this point by point. Now, the bill, by the way, is the whole focus of this whole project. Now, some of you have contacted me and said, oh, I've already started my speech or I've already started my slides. Don't. Please don't. You write your bill first. Then, after we write the bills, then next week I'll explain to you, or late this week, I'll explain to you how to do your PowerPoint or your speech, because the whole point of that speech PowerPoint later on is to explain why your bill is so good, why we should pass it. You can't write a speech or do a PowerPoint about why your bill is so good before you've written your bill. Okay, so you'll click on this form. Remember, if you're in a group that's been approved, only one person from your group has to do it, and you give the title to your bill. I don't care what you call your bill. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it the I'm Awesome bill in your name or whatever. As long as there's not profanity or something offensive, you can call the bill whatever you want and you get a point for that. Then you have to tell me who's it's submitted by, as if you're a congressperson. So here's where we're playing pretend. Some of you got confused between real life representatives like Marcy Kaptur, your House of Rep, or Senator Sherrod Brown, and yourselves. Okay, we're in pretend world here. So you would list your name like Johnny Student, okay? And you would say whatever pretend state you're from. So that's the one you've already told me on the pre-planning guide. So maybe you said Indiana or whatever state you chose that we've already discussed. And then you could say, I'm going to be a Democrat, a Republican, or independent. Okay. So you just put the letter there. Oh, I'm a Democrat. You put a D. Oh, I'm a Republican. You put an R. Or I don't want to be either of those. You just put an I. So that's how you do this. You list your name, you list your state, and then you list what political party you want to pretend to be from. Democrat, Republican, or independent. Okay, so that's one point. Putting your name and a pretend state and a pretend party is one point. Then you have to decide which committee you would want to see this bill. Now, we haven't formed the committees yet, they're coming up later on. But basically, somebody's going to look at your bill and we have to categorize them. So if your bill has something to do with taxes or money, click domestic economy. If your bill has something to do with recycling, the environment, pollution, then you click on the environment. If it has to do something with international trade, for example, you click on international business. If it has something to do with guns or maybe even coronavirus, if it's about restrictions or limitations, then it probably has to do with national security. You're probably going to get the point for this if it's vaguely correct. But if you say, oh, I'm going to do a bill about gun control and you put it under the environment, I'm not giving you the point because that's not real logical. And I don't care if you can come up with some weird way where you say it is. Okay, so that's a point. Here's the meat of the project. Here's your actual law. And I give you an example. What I want you to do is to make sure you write out a specific action with a specific solution. It's explained right here. So, for example, starting January 21st, 2021, all schools will no longer be able to have more than 4 days per week. Okay, that's asking for a specific action. What would be a bad example is we won't have as much school. Okay, that's a wish. We want an action, a specific thing. I had two other groups talk about police brutality, a valid subject. You cannot write a law that says we won't have any or racism won't happen. That's a wish, not a law. You can come up with something like, oh, we want all police to have body cameras so that we can monitor this, or we want greater penalties for racially motivated crimes. That those are valid. You can't just say something like, oh, we want more jobs. You've got to create those jobs. We don't do wishes here. We do laws. You have to, your wish is going to guide your law. Oh, I want to make it so less people are homeless. Good. That's fine. That's not a law though. You can't make a law that says less people will be homeless. You can make a law that somehow, some way does something that ends up making it so less people are homeless. So you need a specific action. Now, I give another example right in the form. A couple weeks ago, when I was setting this project up, I recorded a video clip of me explaining with a specific example of a good example and a bad example dealing with cars and the environment. So if this is unclear, click on this video after we're done when you click on the form and it'll further explain it. But if you give me something that is not a clear action, if it's just like a wish, like, oh, there'll be less gun violence, I'm not going to give you credit for it. So I want to make sure you ask for a specific law. And by the way, you don't say a wish, like you don't say, oh, I know someone's going to lower the drinking age. So you don't say, oh, I want the drinking age to be lowered. No, you don't say I want and you don't say lower. You say the drinking age starting January 1st, 2021 will be whatever, 19 or whatever you decided to make it. A specific law as it would be read. Okay. That's the most critical thing. Work together with that. Now, that's why I'm opening up more Zooms. If you have no idea how to accomplish what you want to accomplish, then that's where you jump into these Zooms and say, Mr. Penrose, I don't know. Help me explain it with this topic, and I'll work through it with you. I'm not going to come up with your idea, but I will certainly help you brainstorm and tell you the difference between a wish and a law. Once your law is written here, which is the biggest part, you then have to come up with three facts. They're called whereas statements. that verify the need for your law. Okay. Again, I've put an embedded video in here to help explain how to do these. So if my explanation today is not good enough, then you could click on this video when you're doing the form. And again, it's embedded right in the form for you, for you to get another example. I don't even remember what example I used, but I have a specific example that I wrote out, and you can look at that and see a whereas statement that will get all 4 points and a whereas statement that will get no points. I know, for example, you have to cite it. You have to tell me where you got the information from. If you don't have a website listed here under your source for this fact, it doesn't count. Okay, so you just copy and paste the website and you give me a fact. The fact must be about why your bill should be passed. So, for example, if you're one of the people that says, I'm just going to use some of the ones I just remembered reading recently. You have some sort of bill that's going to reduce police brutality. Your facts have to be specific pieces of data about how common that is. It might be about how, unfortunately, this number or that number of people had been killed in this state or that state. Your fact has to be about that. It can't just be like, I don't know, something generic like how many police there are in the world. That's not a fact relevant in particular to this fact. If it's about police brutality, your facts are going to be about police brutality. If your bill is about pollution, your facts should be about how bad pollution is. I know a couple people were dealing with water pollution. So all three of these facts should be something verifiable and specific, data driven, like, oh, this many tons of this chemical are put in our oceans every year. That, if you had the numbers to back that up, would be a specific fact. If you had a number like, oh, most of our water is fine. First off, that's not a fact. But if you said, oh, I found a website that said 98% of our water is fine, that is, I guess, could be found to be a fact. I don't believe it, but it could be found to be a fact. But it wouldn't be a fact that supports your bill. So keep it out. Only use facts that support your bill. Also, don't just put a random fact in there like, oh, Abraham Lincoln was our 16th president. True, that's a fact, but it's probably not relevant to your bill. So find three. This is where you're going to have three things that are going to hit us over the head with why we should do what it is you want to do. Uh, a lot of you are going to do some sort of bill with coronavirus. And some of you want to make it so that we can't close down, and some of you are going to make it so that we have to close down more. It's not my job to judge your bills that way. My job is to make sure your facts back up what you're saying. So if you are a person that says, we have to close down more because of coronavirus, then your three facts here should be verifiable facts about why coronavirus is so dangerous. You'd have facts about how many people have died, how many people are infected, how many people are infected in states that didn't lock down. Those would be good facts to back up. We should do this specific close down procedure. Now, inversely, if your bill is about how governors shouldn't be able to shut down businesses, it should be up to the business, then you have to ignore all the facts about the people dying. You don't want anything to do with those because those make your bill look dumb. What you want to do is find the facts about how many people are unemployed, how many people are losing their homes. You have to focus on the financial part because the facts you use here have to make sense compared to what you're asking for. I hope that makes sense. But again, you want these facts to back up why we should do what you said we should do in this bill right here. Okay? That is the main thing. That's a lot. That's why I'm giving you 3 full days to do it. So when I say three facts, you put one here, and one here. So I just repeated that 3 times. Each one is worth 4 points. Then and only then do you submit. Make sure you are completely done when you submit. If you make a mistake and submit early, email me right away. There's a way I can delete your submission, and that will allow you to put another one in. Let's just avoid that though and not submit until you're done. So I hope this makes sense for you. You are writing a law. You get to be in charge. Now that you understand it, if you're like, oh, I want to write a totally different law, sorry, you chose your topic. It has to be about the topic you told me about in your topic approval form. Okay, so make sure that you are getting this done, the the topic that you chose in your top and got approved in your topic approval, and then write a bill about that, write a law about that. If this is confusing, jump in these Zooms. Email me, I'll set up another Zoom. There are so many of you who are taking advantage of this and saying, hey, can you Zoom me at 3 o'clock on this day? And I do it. And there are others who have never jumped into a Zoom regularly scheduled or ask me for one. I'm happy to talk to you. It should not surprise any of you that I'm still a history nerd and I'm still sitting here at my computer between roughly 8 and 4 every day. Sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later. But I'm sitting here for 8 hours grading, reading, creating. So it's no big deal for me to hop on a Zoom and talk to you. The only time I can't is if I'm A, eating lunch, or B, already meeting with Mr. Talbot in one of his Zooms. So I'm sure I can answer your questions. I will be opening up all of the class specific Zooms from 10 to 10:30 to all classes every day this week to answer your specific questions. I may mute some of you because I'll talk to you about one group at a time, or I may not admit you until I'm done with a particular group, but we can get you in there. Okay. So, and by the way, if you haven't done a Zoom yet, I create one, and all you have to do is click on it and you're going to jump right in. You have to be under your school name. All right. I hope this makes sense. Again, if it doesn't, watch these embedded videos. This one will tell you when you're in the actual form. This one will tell you how to write the bill. And this one down here will tell you how to write these 3 whereas statements, which are just facts to back up why we should pass the bill, which we're writing here. Hope that makes sense. If not, that's what they pay me for me to answer your questions. So please feel free to contact me. Get that document of the week done, get those easy points. We're going to be done here in a couple weeks. So we don't have any time to be behind on this. And then on Thursday, I'm going to explain to you how to back up this bill with a speech or PowerPoint, depending on what you chose. And we will worry about that at another time. Let's get through one thing at a time. All right, guys. I went a little long, but remember, I'm not going to post a video Tuesday or Wednesday. So have a great day. Stay healthy.